खींचना। और बाबा नजर को फेर लो, दम टूटने लगा। अरे बरछी के फल से खून है, दिल का रुका हुआ। उबलेगा खून जमीन पर, उबलेगा खून जमीन पर। बरछी न खींचना, बोले पदर से अकबर। बरछी न खींचना। और सांसें उखड़ रही हैं तो मध्यम है नब्ज़ भी। करते हो आह हम को है ताकीद सब्र की। कहते हो थाम कर जिगर, अरे कहते हो थाम कर जिगर। बरछी न खींचना, बोले पदर से अकबर। बरछी न खींचना। और अकबर पुकारे बाप से, अकबर पुकारे बाप से। दिल को संभालिए, अरे टूटी सिना कलेजे में रहने ही दीजिए। अरे निकलेगा साथ में जिगर, निकलेगा साथ में जिगर। बरछी न खींचना, बोले पदर से अकबर। बरछी न खींचना। और मौला ने या अली कहा, दिल को संभाल कर। और फिर खुद ही लड़खड़ा गए, बरछी निकाल कर। अरे कहता रहा जवां पे सर, कहता रहा जवां पे सर। बरछी न खींचना, बोले पदर से अकबर। बरछी न खींचना। और रेहान साथ बरछी के दिल भी निकल पड़ा। पढ़ते रहे हुसैन भी तादेर मरसिया। माँ कहती आई नंगे सर, माँ कहती आई नंगे नंगे सर, अरे बरछी ना खींचना, बोले पदर से अकबर, बरछी ना खींचना, बोले पदर से अकबर, बरछी ना खींचना। बर मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद सलावत।
To show your appreciation and to inshallah increase his servitude to the Ahlul Bayt with his recitations, please recite another loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Inshallah, next I'd like to invite Brother Dawood Jafri from the Muharram al-Mahdi Youth Foundation, who will give a short presentation just before we invite the Sayyid onto the minbar for his lecture. So if you can invite, before I invite Dawood, there is a short video, if you can pay attention to the screens. There'll be a short video, and then Dawood will have a few words, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. After years of dreaming, we have finally found a permanent home for our community. This is the beginning of something powerful. Welcome to My Community Project by Muharram al-Mahdi Youth Foundation. Together, we can build a brighter future for all.
This won't be just a building. It'll be a space filled with purpose, a hall for events, rooms for learning, sports areas, a place where everyone feels welcome, where you might come as a stranger, but leave as a friend.
Since 1994, Muharram al-Mahdi has been a voice for the youth.
We aim to provide career development through the NYF Aspire program, promote health and social well-being through initiatives like the Football League, and hiking trips through Club 313.
Over the years, we've delivered programs that uplift, from some of the most amazing majalis to a football league that brings together over 200 people across 15 teams and interfaith event. This centre will help us expand that impact even further.
This building isn't just a plan for the future. It's already being used. We have hosted beautiful programs here during Rajab, Shaban and Fatimiyya. It's already becoming a spiritual home for many. In Ramadan, we held a 10-night series here with daily iftar for the community. We saw families, elders, students, hundreds joining each night. On Eid, over 500 people came together to celebrate as one family.
This space has brought people together like never before. Kids laughing, volunteers serving, elders smiling. For many, this is the first time they felt this connection for their community, especially in English.
For the volunteers, being part of Muharram is more than just giving time. It's about being part of something bigger. They're not just helping out, they're building a legacy. They're building friendships, they're building a family.
This centre is giving them a sense of purpose and belonging.
Volunteering at Muharram has enabled me to take initiative to do good outside of my home, for my community, for the youth of the Shia.
Volunteering has really impacted the way I look at the kind of community and what I can give to the community.
Volunteering, I'm putting myself behind, and I'm putting everybody first, to the sake of God and the sake of Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman.
Community को, अपनी youth को, especially अपनी mothers, अपने बच्चे जो बच्चों को इस वक्त पाल रही हैं, जो look after कर रही हैं अपने बच्चों की, यकीन मानिए मेरे बच्चे इसी community के अंदर, इसी youth foundation के अंदर अपना पल कर बड़े हुए हैं और इस youth से उन्होंने बहुत कुछ सीखा है.
Sometimes we have these blips of spirituality in our own lives, and when you volunteer and you're giving back to the community, it really gives you a sense of fulfillment, and I feel that's really done that for me.
For me, MYF gave me a sense of belonging and gave me a sense of identity, because I didn't have a lot of communities where I could rely on or go to for support, whereas Muharram I can do that.
Coming from Wales and having no Shia Muslim community around me, it's impacted me greatly. I dedicate my time to helping others through this centre, which has helped me develop as a person and also made me part of a community I never had as a child.
Throughout my whole life, the whole community has given a lot to me,
and now I think it was my turn to give back to the community in terms of like, you know, religious events and, you know, things that are going on. I just wanted to be a part of the community and to make sure that, you know, I can provide, I can support, I can help out wherever I can.
It's made me more grateful for what I have. It made me appreciate what these organisations do for the community, where most of them do it without asking for rewards, without getting paid. And I think it's made me a more humble person.
The need for a dedicated English community centre is immense. Our youth need a place to thrive. Our elders need a space for spiritual fulfillment.
The future is exciting. We want to grow our Islamic school, build stronger youth programs, and launch even more wellbeing initiatives.
We've already secured £650,000 through pledges and donations. To complete this vision, we need your support to raise the remaining £400,000. Your contributions will make this dream a reality.
Your support builds a lot more than walls. It builds unity, growth and hope for the next generation.
Alhamdulillah, we have Khums Ijaza from Sayyid Sistani and Sayyid Khamenei. If you would like any further in details,
you can visit us on www.myfoundation.org.uk/donate. Thank you very much for your time.
Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Azam Allah ajurana wa ajurakum. Assalamu alaikum, dearest brothers, sisters, elders and scholars. You've seen the effort that's gone through to get to this particular stage. The last few nights, we had presentations from Brother Raza, Masoom, to talk to you about this particular community center. We've spoken about the hurdles that we've overcome. We've spoken about all the trials and tribulations that we've gone through. But alhamdulillah, with your support, with this particular community, we've been able to get to where we are. To get to the point that we are able to host you, our wonderful community, for 10 nights of Muharram and beyond. But it doesn't just stop there. Today, I see many new faces in the audience. A lot of you might be coming to MYF for the first time. A lot of you may have never heard of MYF before. So I want to take 5 minutes of your time to speak to you about what MYF really does. Why our work is so crucial and so important in the community itself. And that is due to 3 pillars. The first is the MYF Majalis program. The second is the MYF Aspire stream. And finally, Club 313. You are sat here today in one of the MYF Majalis events. We've been doing Majalis since 2009. And throughout the years, we've had to rent various different spaces out. Whether it's a community center, a school, or a wedding hall, a banquet hall. Wherever we could find some space, we were able to rent it so that we're able to cater for the majalis, the milads, or whatever other Islamic occasion they may have been. A few years ago, some of the brothers decided that it was time that we spend the money a little bit more wisely. The money comes from our dearest community here itself, and we were able to utilize that and generate enough funds to buy this particular center. The majalis that you see are not just limited to Muharram. You saw in the video we held a 10-night series in Ramadan. Beyond that, we host Shaban programs, Ghadir programs, and many, many more. We try and do our best to celebrate and commemorate every single one of the holy personalities and all the sacred months. But it's not just limited to this. Inshallah, this will be the first English center in the north that covers every single Islamic occasion throughout the year. And that's only possible with your support. The second stream I wanted to talk about is the MYF Aspire program. MYF Aspire was launched to try and make sure that the next generation has the skills and the tool sets to be able to be the leaders of the community going forward. Through MYF Aspire, we've already held 2 amazing masterclasses, one on entrepreneurship, the other on leadership and community development. Both were very well attended. Both were absolute masterclasses to be able to understand how you're able to develop the skills within yourself to be able to serve the community better and uplift the entire community. We are going to host several other workshops going forward throughout the year. We plan to host one every single month, and with your support, we'll be able to do that further. It's not just about workshops, though. We're also doing a lot of work with mentorship programs. If you, your children, your friends and family are interested in a particular career and don't know anyone in that field, please approach us. We have a network that works with various different types of professionals, whether it's medics, whether it's people in banking, whether that's people in dentistry or beyond. We're able to help the young people grow and develop through various avenues like CV workshops, personal statements, getting into university through interview skills and beyond. So inshallah, with your support, we'll continue this. And if you need any more information on any of these programs, please reach out to us. And finally, you can't build a community without the social events. The brotherhood and the sisterhood that's created within these social events is long-lasting. And through Club 313, we host one of the largest football leagues in the UK, especially within the Shia community. We have 150 Shia brothers that gather on a Friday, and we play football for 2 hours each and every single Friday. Season 3 of League 313, inshallah, will be starting from September, and you'll find out a lot more information on that. For some of the younger brothers, what we also do is we offer Club 313 in this particular center. Typically on a Wednesday night, you can bring your children, they can play PlayStation, table tennis, basketball, badminton in the sports hall. And through that, they're able to make friends that will grow with them, and they are friends that are like-minded, from their own religion, and inshallah that will help them grow in the right way. This is your center. Our long-term vision is a center that never really sleeps. The majalis will continue, the workshops will continue, and so will the classes and the social events. We want to make sure that we grow as a community so that we're able to best set ourselves for the future. You saw in the previous nights the financial overview. We bought this building for nearly £1 million, and yet we still have a £95,000 loan on the building. Over the last few nights, we've had many of you come forward and pledge to donate towards that. I'll remind you once again, every single month, close to £1,200 goes in just interest payments on that particular loan. There are around 1,200 people here today. And what we want to do is to do our best to try and clear the loan off this Muharram. This Muharram is our greatest opportunity to be able to be debt-free for this particular building. And we can't do it without your support. We can't do it without your help. So, with that in mind, on the next slide, you're going to see that we have a QR code for the pledges. So it's at the bottom of the screen. So, Musaddiq, if you go to the next slide, please. We've had 76 people pledge out of the 313 that we need. It's £313 split between 1,200 people. We could easily get there tonight. With your support, we will get there tonight. I want each and every single one of you, all have your phones on you right now. Please, if you could, scan the barcode. It will take you to our Just Giving page. If you're a taxpayer, please make sure that you select the gift aid selection box in that. If you need any additional information, please let me know. Brother Raza is here, Mahdi's here, any of the team that you see around you for donations. Whatever we can do to help and guide you through your donation process, we're here to help. To guide you about Muharram al-Mahdi Youth Foundation, we will help. but we need your help as well. We need you to pledge £313. Each and every single one of you. If only a few of you do it, we will get to our target tonight. So if you can do so, I will give you 1 minute or so before the Sayyid comes in to scan the barcode, and inshallah I'll hand over to the Sayyid from there onwards. Please recite a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Your donation means a lot to us. It may be a small amount to many of the people around here, but trust me, it will go a very, very long way for us. Whatever you can do, even if it's not £313, even if it's £100, £50, great, we will take it. Honestly, there are so many people here today that are blessed, and inshallah, with your support, we're going to be able to create a community that is everlasting. We're going to be able to create a community that really is forward-looking. We're going to be able to create a community for you. You are the asset of this particular community. And inshallah, you will grow through the efforts that we are able to provide. With that, I will leave you. Please recite the loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Thank you, Brother Dawood, for the updates regarding Muharram Mahdi Youth Foundation and the finances, and inshallah, if you can all support, that would be much appreciated. I want to invite the Sayyid, but before I do, you can all look around. You can see that the hall is nearly packed, and there is quite a few more people coming in. So I'm going to ask everyone to all stand up and come forward. There's a lot more space. I can see pockets of space everywhere. So if you can all stand up and come forward, and just make that extra space for the Zawar that are coming into the Majlis. Wa sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Brothers, if you can put your shoes on your laps, it will make that extra bit of space. Even if we can fit in another 10, 15 people, it's more than enough. If you can put your shoes on your laps and fill any spaces, any gaps that there is. Barakallah feekum. If we can all just come in, settle down, find the seats. Brothers that are stood over there, if you can find the seats, inshallah, so we can invite the Sayyid. I have space for about 2 people on the stage. 2? Anyone on the stage? Can you guys all squish up together a little bit more? Inshallah, just before we invite the Sayyid, I have one last request. Tonight's program is sponsored, and there are a number of marhumeen that we've been requested to recite Al-Fatiha for, so I'll recite their names. And then after that, if you could recite a Fatiha in their honor. Hatim Ali Shah Malak, Mahfouza Shah Malak, Buland Aqbal, Iftikhar Ahmed, and Nawazish Fatima. The names are on the screen, and if you can recite Al-Fatiha. Brothers, if you can just find a seat. I know it's a bit tight over there in that corner. If one of the volunteers can help them find a space. One last thing before I invite the Sayyid on, inshallah. Again, I've had to mention it every night. Please, no recording on your personal devices, on your mobile phones. The lecture is live streamed online, and the recording is available online afterwards as well. So no recordings on your phone, no photos. And once again, a polite request to minimize movement and minimize sound and noise so we aren't having any disruptions during the program. With that being said, inshallah, if you can invite the Sayyid onto the minbar with the loudest of salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. الثانية على حب زهراء. الثالثة على حب الحسن والحسين.
Before I begin, just a couple of announcements. Inshallah, directly after the majlis and after the ma'tam, I will be leading Salat al-Maghrib and Isha, and then after the Salah, we will have an open question and answer session for everybody in relation to these majalis in general and all of the general Islamic questions that you may have. That will be directly after Salah. Secondly, I'm humbled by the wonderful support from all of you, even with our sand collection and the clothing line, and the support that's been given is something I will not forget, and it's not something that I take lightly. And I thank you all so much for this. And of course, part of the proceeds go to the team at the Zahra Trust and the work that they're doing and the charitable endeavors that they're doing as well, all over the world. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also bless them, and inshallah your support is there for them. And finally, I'm also humbled by seeing this place develop. Having been with Muhibban in the years where they had to rent places, I'm delighted to see now that they have purchased this place. And this is your place in reality. It's not just a place for an organization. It's your place. And inshallah, being your place, each and every one of you can leave behind a legacy for future Muharrams and future Shahr Ramadans in maintaining this place and the costs of this place. And I echo their words when they talk about fundraising. There are many mosques which have served Ahl al-Bayt from our fathers and our grandfathers. Now it's your turn. Our parents established Imam Bargas all over the UK. Now it's your turn. Whether you give a small amount, whether you give part of your monthly salary, whether you give your charitable dues, it's your sadaqah jariyah for the day of judgment. And as we've seen recently in the news, a person can have everything in this world and one car crash takes them. It could be anyone. It doesn't matter how famous you are, not famous. But what you have to leave behind is that there was a gift that kept on giving. It's your opportunities. Allah keeps sending opportunities, and when people say, we want to become more spiritual, how can we become more spiritual? God keeps sending chances. You might not be grabbing them. And so therefore, let us meet the needs of this community. We have catered for all of you and for those around the world who are watching. At the end of the day, this majlis, alhamdulillah, because of the hard work of the MC and the hard work, the whole of the management committee is the most watched majlis in the Shia world. And that's because of their hard work. And that's because of the effort that they've put in. And so people worldwide who don't even have places were able to watch because this place was established. And this place is the first place to have been purchased by the youth of a community. All other mosques I've lectured in the UK, either the youth have rented a space or the mosque was established 30, 40, 50 years ago. So the elders already paid for it. This is the first one where a generation in and around the age of 30 paid for the whole mosque. It's unique, unique. But you're all part of this. So I beg of all of you, benefit from lectures is one thing. But contributing to the cause so that this continues, that's another level of spirituality. I know it's not easy, and I know some people may leave here and say, I listened to a lecture and move on. No. Try your hardest, inshallah, that before the 10 nights are over, try your hardest to have written your name in answer to Hal min Nasiran Yansurana. And that was your little that you gave. There are some here who can only afford £5-10, and there are others here who can comfortably afford 6 figures. But then it's your test whether you give it towards whichever place. That's between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I think this is enough service for you. So may Allah bless all of you. And inshallah we'll remember each other in prayers. Let us remember our marhumin with the Surah Al-Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawm. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وعظيمنا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه الغر الميامين. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. أما بعد، إنما بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق. The first of our loud salawat in honor of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Second louder salawat in honor of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Last but not least, in honor of the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Asri wal-Zaman. Respected scholars, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Akhlaq, without a doubt, is one of the most important topics within the religion of Islam. But have we lost the akhlaq of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi within our communities? And this subject of morality and ethics is a subject that doesn't just affect the Muslim. Every single religion in the world today and in the past, and every single empire of today and in the past, has always asked the question as to what makes a moral society, what makes a moral human being. Even in the subjects that we have within our societies today, there are always questions about the relativism of morality. Who dictates what's moral and what's not moral? Today you have all different arguments about what is akhlaq. But one thing in particular that all societies agree on is that a society with morals is the best of societies. And a society without morality is a dead society. If you go back to the Greeks or the Romans or the Persians or the Arabs or Judaism or Islam or Christianity, you'll see that each and every one of them touched on discussions concerning akhlaq. They knew that if you were able to build a republic, or you were able to build a government, or you were able to build a society with the best akhlaq, then you will be able to ensure the longevity of that society. If you look at Socrates, and then his student Plato, and then his student Aristotle, and then you look at Confucius or Lao Tzu, or if later on you go to Ghazali, Farabi, Ibn Sina, Aquinas, Maimonides, you'll see even later with Kant and Hume and others that the central subject is how do you ensure that society's akhlaq remains strong. When we meet somebody with the best of akhlaq, it touches our heart straight away. The moment you see somebody whose moral traits are the best of moral traits, you never forget them. It always brings a smile on your face. Someone who's humble, someone who's patient, someone who is always empathetic, generous. These are the traits every human looks for, not just the Muslim. The complete opposite is what you detest. Bring me now a non-Muslim in this crowd, and I say to him, what do you think of someone who is envious? What do you think of someone who's rude? What do you think of someone who's bitter? What do you think of someone who backbites and destroys people's lives? It doesn't need the Quran for him to say that I detest such things. Because part of my primordial nature is that I can sense the difference between goodness and between evil. Between right and wrong, what builds the character. And ultimately on the day of judgment, what's going to bring our salvation? Is it my dishdasha or my kanzu or my abaya or jalabiya that I wear? Because sadly Islam now became a religion that the exterior is more important than the interior. The moment you see somebody with an abaya come to the mosque, or you see that person has grown their beard, or that person has a ring, or that person has a tasbih, or sibha in their hand, you'll see that our communities will straight away say taqwa, muttaqi, pious. Automatically, why? Because we've been in a framework of fiqh more than akhlaq. Today's Shi'ism is a fiqhi Shi'ism in reality. I'm not denying that we have theology. I'm not denying we have spirituality. But ultimately, what are me and you most concerned about? We are most concerned, is this halal to eat or haram? Is the moon on this day or that day? Is it wajib to do this or that? That's our main concern, law. Law has a huge place to play within society, there's no doubt. No society can flourish without law. But if law has no heart, then you become like who? You become like the rabbis of the children of Israel. Judaism focused a lot on law. By the end, they had no heart in dealing with law. All they concern themselves with, does he have a long beard? Does he wear something on his head? Does he have longer hair? Is he somebody who looks like a pious person? The looks are not the most important thing. They are important, but it's the heart that's fundamental. Because if I look good, for example, and you see me sitting here with an abaya, and therefore I look good, but my heart is full of hasad. My heart is full of diseases. Someone says, which diseases? If I told you now you have a blockage in your heart, straight away you'll look to the doctor, or you'll go to a cardiologist and others and ask them and talk to them. But when I tell you you have a disease in the heart of your soul, you'll say, which disease? So you have inside you hypocrisy, you have arrogance, you have envy. Religion does what? Religion comes as a hospital for these, comes as a pharmacy for these. Because for me, my akhlaq is within me and my soul is either the diseases or the virtues. There's a poem attributed to Imam Ali alayhi salam. The poem states, دواؤك منك وما تبصر وداؤك فيك وما تشعر. The cure is within you, but you do not sense. But the disease is within you, but you do not see. The human being, the cure to their salvation is within them. And the diseases that can destroy their hereafter are within them. Within the nafs of the human being. Hence why always in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to give us a little hint about Qiyamah. What was that hint? Where your nafs ends up when you go 6 feet under is where you'll end up on the day of judgment. Someone says, my body or my nafs? My body is going to die and decay. My body is going to rot. What's going to remain? What's going to remain is the character that I built. That's what's going to remain. The soul separates from the body. The soul, what is it? The human being's soul. Either the human being's soul, it's made up of 4 faculties. Al-Quwwa al-Aqliya, which is the power of the intellect. Al-Quwwa al-Wahmiya, the power of imagination. Al-Quwwa al-Ghadabiyya, the power of anger. Al-Quwwa al-Wahmiya, which is what? The power of the Quwwa al-Shahwiyya, which is the power of desire. If you want to remember it in an acronym, remember the word RAID. Someone asks you, what's your nafs? Say reason, anger, imagination, desire. Every human has a battle in their akhlaq between these 4. Their intellect is trying to subdue their anger or their reason or their imagination. Because the imagination can make me destroy societies. My anger can make me destroy a marriage. My desires can make me destroy society. My akhlaq, therefore, comes from a concept. Can my intellect tame the horse of anger and desire and imagination? If the quwwa al-aqliya that I've been given, the power of my intellect, if it can tame the other 3, because the other 3 are what? They're spontaneous. The word akhlaq comes from the word khulq. Khulq means the spontaneous reaction of the human being's soul. Spontaneous. The akhlaq of the human being is what? Is when a person spontaneously reacts to something. I give you a simple, trivial example. In tawaf, around the Kaaba and Hajj or Umrah, when someone elbows you hard. Some of you smiling because I think you've been there. You're going around and it's busy and it's sweaty. And someone gives you an elbow. Your reaction to that moment shows you where your akhlaq is. Because your reaction at that moment can either be, why are they touching me? Who do they think they are? Or it could also be, let me make excuses for them. We're all getting pushed. Look at the 2 different versions of your nafs. That's why Hajj is so beautiful. Because Hajj tells you where you are. You're either an animal who's come to do rituals. As Imam al-Sadiq was asked, look how many hujjaj. He's like, look through my fingers. He looked, he saw animals doing tawaf. There's many animals and very few humans. Yes? And people pushing and kicking and jumping and harassing. But then there are those whose akhlaq, they've reached a level of a lovely balance. That even when they get angry, their intellect tells them, what's the point? Yes? What's the point? Remember, even my own self on a personal level, today I got someone who insulted me in Manchester. Today, just today. He insulted me. He is not from our school, I'm sure you can imagine who his forefathers are. He insulted me, but with the insult, I had a member of the community who was with me when we were walking. And this member of the community who was with me was, he was in a rage because this person had tried to hide. But then my anger on the one hand is telling me, turn around and let's reply. But then the intellect comes and says, why am I replying to this nobody? Really? Quran said, إِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. When the jahil speaks to you, say salam. At the end of the day, what am I going to gain if a car cuts me and I want to go in a moment of rage? But this is where a point emerges. Akhlaq needs to always be reassessed. Never in your life believe that you are immune from a bad moment of akhlaq. That is where you fall as a human being. What you're never immune from is that the soul can let go. The nafs can at a moment defeat the intellect. And that is what differentiates on Qiyamah those with Ahlul Bayt and those against Ahlul Bayt. Someone says, no. On Qiyamah, what differentiates me is that I went to Karbala and I do a majlis for Imam al-Hussein and I take out an alam and I blow a trumpet and no. What differentiates you is your akhlaq when doing those things. Your akhlaq and the way that you followed Ahlul Bayt. Someone could easily come and do many ritualistic things, salah, but doesn't change their akhlaq. He finishes salah, he's rude to his family. He finishes salah, he's obnoxious. He finishes salah, he's always in a mood with everybody. What it therefore goes to show is that you have to reassess always one's akhlaq. Therefore, akhlaq in a wedding has to always be reassessed. Akhlaq in a Fatiha funeral has to be reassessed. Akhlaq with my parents when they get older and older has to be reassessed. Akhlaq with your children has to be reassessed. Akhlaq in Majlis al-Hussein has to be reassessed. Akhlaq with an alim has to be reassessed. Akhlaq by the alim has to be reassessed by the alim. It's the alim and the one who sees the alim. Both have to reassess themselves constantly. You want to achieve a great place in Qiyamah. It's not how many salahs you've prayed. Those are good. But salah without softness of the heart of a human to another, then throw your salah away. Akhlaq is the main framework that I'd like to examine tonight on a personal level so that we can all reassess our akhlaq and see how we can come back to the lost sunnah of the beautiful akhlaq of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family. And I'd like to do this in the following stages. Number one, what was the mission statement of the Prophet? Was it, I've come to bring salah, I've come to bring zakat, or was it something else? Number two, why does he use makarim al-akhlaq? What is makarim al-akhlaq? Number three, how then did his grandson develop a dua on that basis? Number four, why do most non-Shia believe the Prophet could have moments of bad akhlaq? And how comes the Prophet would have bad akhlaq if he came to bring us and teach us akhlaq? Number five, does ilm equal akhlaq? And if it did, then shaitan should be in Jannah. Number six, which areas of our community need a complete car wash when it comes to akhlaq? And then from my personal experiences, what are the areas that I've witnessed where the akhlaq, inshaAllah, with each other we'll work on and will continue to change? Number seven, how were the Ahlul Bayt the walking mirror image of the akhlaq of the Prophet? And on the 10th of Muharram, how did Imam al-Hussein describe Ali al-Akbar in relation to akhlaq? Let's examine this and dissect the topic in complete depth. If someone asks you, what was the mission of the Prophet? You'll find some Muslims will say, his mission was to tell us to fast in Shahr Ramadan. But fasting came at least 15 years after he announced his prophethood. His mission was Hajj. He only done Hajj once, and that was just before he died. His mission was jihad. He didn't even touch a battlefield until 15 years after his prophethood was announced. There's only one mission in reality, ultimately, apart from guiding to the oneness of God, and that is, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. A non-Muslim asks me today about my prophet and says, what was his mission? I say that his mission was in one sentence. إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. Someone says, what's the exact translation in English? Exact translation in English can never do justice to the Arabic. And nothing can come near and do justice to the tongue of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Innama at the beginning of a sentence in Arabic, adat hasr. Innama lil hasr. Innama is when you're specifying a particular quality or something, a particular mission. When you see innama at the beginning of a sentence in Arabic, adat hasr. Innama, therefore, is specifying, I have come. Indeed, I have come. Innama bu'ithtu. I have been sent. Like the messengers have been sent before me, which means every prophet had a similar mission. Innama bu'ithtu li'utammima. So I may perfect the message of those who have come before me. Utammim is what? Is to actualize a particular message in its full fruition. He didn't say akammil. Akammil is different from atammim. Akammil is what? Is I want to complete something which maybe hasn't really been completed. It's still missing some parts. Itmam means what? It means that I'm going to actualize something in its perfection. There is a tahqiq. Something will actually emerge in the most perfect way. Therefore, come back to the sentence, Innama, indeed, I have been sent with the sole purpose of actualizing in perfection makarim al-akhlaq. Makarim al-akhlaq, not just akhlaq, makarim al-akhlaq. Makarim al-akhlaq is what? Is the most sublime morals you will ever see. Yes? Now come back to the whole sentence again. This sentence is one of the most important sentences in Islam. Islam is defined by this one sentence. Innama, I have been sent, like the prophets before me, to ensure the tahqiq, the actualization, in its perfect form of the most sublime morals. Okay? Someone asked the question, Innama bu'ithtu li'utammima. Why did he say makarim al-akhlaq? Why not mahasin al-akhlaq? Husn al-khuluq is a good thing, having good akhlaq. Why makarim? Why sublime? I'll show you the difference between the two. Mahasin al-akhlaq is, for example, you do something good to me, I'll do something good to you. Tit for tat. You invite me to your home for dinner. I invite you to what? To my home for dinner. You invite me to your wedding. I'm obliged to invite you to my wedding. That's good akhlaq. Makarim. Even if you don't show me good akhlaq, I'll still show you good akhlaq. Yes. Look at the difference. Look at the difference. Ask the human beings, how do we work? If they were good with me, I'm good with them. If they're not good with me, I'm not going to be good with them. I'm not going to be good with them at all. On the contrary, what do you find? On the contrary, you find that makarim al-akhlaq is when a person does what? Makarim al-akhlaq is when someone has not necessarily been good to me, I'll still be good to them. If they've let me down, I'll find a way to be good with them. I'll find a way to open a door for them. If they're trying to make an effort, I will do even better than that effort that they have made. The man himself was the most unique in that behavior. You know when people say Rasulullah had great akhlaq, his great akhlaq wasn't, oh, someone's nice to me, I'm nice to them. That was nice. It was sometimes when someone's nasty to me, I can still find a way of being good to them. That was his akhlaq. Because you know very well, one of the ways in which we prove his prophethood is what? Is that before he announced his prophethood, he was known for two things. He was sadiq and he was ameen. He was truthful and trustworthy. Nobody remembers the ilm of Rasulullah before he died, before he was a prophet. Nobody remembers how big his house was. Nobody remembers whether he was an orphan or not. They remember two things. That he was truthful and he was trustworthy. You could never find a black dot on his CV. Never. And that's why even when he announced his prophethood, the amount of times they tried to prick his soul, they tried to make the soul react, they tried to anger him. The Holy Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, never once in his life reacted to the way that they done. We mentioned how they would take the mick by saying that your baby has died, and they called him abtar, abtar. They called him sha'ir, they called him kahin, they called him majnoon. Imagine being called majnoon, insane. never do you find ever the Prophet in his public life or his private life, his akhlaq was impeccable. His wives in some cases were a nightmare. Yes? The Quran mentions how they were a nightmare in Surah 66, Surah Al-Tahrim. One's telling the other a secret, the other's plotting on the other. The Quran exposes the wives, but never once can the wives complain when their akhlaq was bad to him, that his akhlaq was bad to them. Always makarim al-akhlaq was what? You're bad to me, I'll still try and find a way to be good to you. I'll try and find a way to be good. I'll try and find a way in which I ensure that I am the best towards you. And I am the best towards everybody. And that's why Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, when he wrote Dua Makarib to me, Islam, the whole religion can be summarized in Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq. If you wanted to give a non-Muslim, you want to give them a document that explains Shi'ism, give them Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq. Look at the beauty of Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq. In that dua, there is a continuing line. What is it? Those who have wronged me, let me find a way to be good to them. It's so hard. It's so hard. You know why? Because we're tenacious. We are. And if we don't reassess ourselves, we can be lethal. Because we have it in us that if someone wrongly has said something, we want to destroy them. We have no limits to destroying them. We'll slander them. We'll lie about their character. We'll make stories about them. Why? Either because they said something that we don't like or that we don't agree with. Instead of us turning around with the exact Islamic origin, which was what? Make 70 excuses for somebody before you attack. The human, if there is no, please focus on this line. If there is no tahdhib of the nafs, this is a huge line. In Qom al-Najaf today, akhlaq is not the top subject. Fiqh is the top subject. It's not akhlaq. Fiqh is the top subject. When fiqh is the top subject, it produces minds. It produces intellects. It's not necessarily a correlation to produce akhlaq. That's why you find some of our maraja' took lessons in akhlaq, or some of them wrote on akhlaq. I'll give you an example. A book that all of you in this hall should have read in your life. And if you haven't, then make a resolution this Muharram to read a book on akhlaq. People ask me, do you have any books on Ghadir, on Saqifa? People ask me, do you have any books on Imama, on Nubuwa? It's all good. Do you have Ayatullah's Risala? Do you have this? Nobody ever asks me, ever, for a book on akhlaq. Nobody. Because you know what people imagine? I don't need a book on akhlaq. Akhlaq so simple. I can just be someone with good akhlaq myself. Nobody asks me for a book on akhlaq. Why? For what reason? It's because akhlaq is not our priority in learning. Why do you think we all slander each other in the communities in the UK? Why? Why do you think we slander each other? We all love Ahlul Bayt, don't we? We all love Ahlul Bayt. Name me Imam Bargas from all the way, from down towards the south coast, all the way up to Scotland. All of us, we love Ahlul Bayt. But why do we find it easy to slander and fight each other? Why? For what reason? Why do we find it easy to forward WhatsApp messages slandering someone's character? It could be some of you over here. It could be some of you, or some of you watching online. That at one stage in your life, you forwarded a WhatsApp message about somebody to destroy them because you didn't like them. And today you like them. And next week you hate them. And next week you like them. And next week you like them. And then you hate them. And then you like them. And then you hate them. And then you like them. And then you like them. And then you hate them. This happens. Because I've seen people who smile with me. Salam said, Ammar, wallah, I love your majalis. 6 months earlier, he was the biggest stabber of my back. Why? Because he has not been trained in ethics. The maximum we're trained in our communities in akhlaq is madrasa on a Saturday or Sunday until the age of 16. That's the maximum. Maximum. After the age of 16, if you ask many Shia in the world, discuss Ibn Sina on ethics. Discuss, for example, others and their works on ethics. Allama Tabatabai and his discussions on ethics. Discuss others, Mutahhari in his discussions on ethics. Others and their discussions on ethics. you'll find that many of us have not picked up books on akhlaq. Akhlaq, for us, is not like fiqh. Fiqh, you have to pick up a book and you have to check everything. Akhlaq is the main book we need to pick up. I give you the book for all of you to read. Make sure you read it. And all those who are watching online, wherever you are, if you have not read this book with your family, then you have not understood the ethical discussions and the ethical system within Islam. Ayatollah al-Khomeini's book, The 40 Hadith. 40 Hadith. Read, go and buy the book or download it, it's online. Ayatollah al-Khomeini's 40 Hadith. They are not on tahara and najasa or hajj or zakat or the laws or theology or proving imama or isma or nubuwwah or fighting with each other. No. They look at the virtues of the soul and the virtuous traits, and they look at the diseases of the soul and how you perfect them. Ayatollah al-Khomeini, you know, was a jurist, was a philosopher, was in the world of mysticism, but one of his best works was on akhlaq. One of his best works was on akhlaq. Because if the Shia community does not study ethics, like how the Western world continues to study Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, they continue to study Kant, and they study Hume and Maimonides and Aquinas, whereas with us, you ask us, what book have you read on ethics according to Muhammad and Al Muhammad, salawatullah wa salamu alayhim? Allahumma salli Muhammad wa Muhammad. Then therefore, if I've not read a book on ethics and I tell everybody we should have good akhlaq. Good akhlaq, what does good akhlaq mean? What are the levels of akhlaq? How do I develop my morality? What are the diseases that I have to be careful of that destroy my akhlaq? If your ilm is destroyed, true, it affects your dunya and may affect your akhirah. Akhlaq, if it's destroyed, Allah will not put you in Jannah as a troublemaker and ruin everyone's life. Sometimes I tell people, you know what? There's some real troublemakers. Don't tell me they're going to be with us in Jannah, inshallah. Because if that guy's going to be around, are we still going to have trouble and disunity in Jannah? Ultimately, Jannah is a place where you chill. You want to be around people who think well of others, who give benefit of the doubt to others, who are soft-hearted to others. Not people, and may Allah protect all of us from having a nafs that likes to see people fall. If you're someone who thrives on others falling, you've got major issues. I feel sorry for you. You've got major issues. If when you see someone's done well, you have a feeling, why is it that they get all the fame? Why is it they get all the accolades? You've got a major disease. You need to go to the hospital. Someone says, Sayyidina, so what? I'm going to go to Manchester Hospital and I'm going to say to them, I have a disease. It's called hasad. Can you take me to A&E? Person will look at me and say, you probably got other issues. But hasad and these can only be cured by studying the seerah of Muhammad and Al Muhammad. Yes? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Muhammad. Anger management issues, envy, lust, hypocrisy, all of these, arrogance, pride, can only be cured if a person goes to the hospital of Ahlul Bayt. Because Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam took the Quranic guidance, so many ayahs in the Quran about akhlaq. When the Quran came, one of the best surahs for the Surah Al-Hujurat, you've all read Surah Al-Hujurat. It's a whole surah on akhlaq. Surah Al-Hujurat comes and says, and wallah, sometimes I wonder about the Muslim. Some Muslims, they remind me when the Quran says, sadly, Quran said about those who carried the Torah, it was like donkeys carrying luggage. You read the Arabic, you read the English, but there is a lack of implementation. Surah 49 verse 6, O you who believe, when a wicked person comes to you with news, verify the news. Someone comes and tells you, person X, I heard this about them. Ask them one question. Have you met him? You heard. Yes, you heard. You met him and asked him? No, but I heard. You met. Quran said when a person, evil person comes to you with news, verify. Number two, when that person comes to bring you the news, Quran came and said, on another verse, it came and said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم. Avoid suspicion, O Muslims, O mu'mins, for suspicion in some cases can be a sin. I think he is one of the most disgusting lines. Suspicion can be a sin. وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا, and do not spy on one another's lives. There are people, because of spying, their evil eye destroys others, wallah. Sometimes people say to me, is the evil eye real? The evil eye is real. 100% it's real. 100%. So how do I prevent it? Well, don't give half of your life away on Instagram. You're telling the whole world what you're doing. There are people out there, they'll spy on everyone. Say, no, but it's a public. Doesn't matter. They'll spy on your every move. They'll look at your every move. Quran said, don't spy. Quran then said, وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا, don't backbite one another. Quran also said, لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم. Don't let one nation make fun of another nation, thinking that they're better when the other nation could be better than them. وَلَا نِسَاءٌ مِّن نِسَاءٍ عَسَى أَن يَكُنَّ خَيْرًا مِنْهُنَّ. And don't let women make fun of other women. وَلَا تَنَابَزُوا بِالْأَلْقَابِ. Don't make nicknames for one another. Basic thing. But the nickname can destroy someone's life. It can hurt that person. It can ruin that person. Quran came with all of this, but the Quran wanted to stress on one thing in particular. What was it? Just because, of course, somebody has ilm does not mean they have akhlaq. Shaitan worshipped. Shaitan had ilm. But shaitan, one moment of akhlaq missing, ruined. One drop of takabbur to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaitan's problem is not Adam. Shaitan's problem is you're telling me, I won't submit. I won't prostrate. One moment. I ask you, we say we are better than shaitan. How many moments of bad akhlaq do we have on our CV? All of us say, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. You might be a shaitan walking on the earth yourself. Yes? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان. And that's why if you want your akhlaq perfected, the first route is to dissect the books of the scholars, of the Ahl al-Bayt, the ad'iyah of the Ahl al-Bayt, like Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq. And the second is to reassess what is it that is wanted by our imams when it comes to different areas of akhlaq. Because I see in our communities, we all have social spaces, public and private. There are certain etiquettes which we need to reassess. I'm going to be very frank, and I'm going to list them for you, what I believe are akhlaqi etiquettes, which we all need to reassess. Firstly, when it comes to our parents, there needs to be a lot more sabr with our parents. Yes. There's a lot of us I've seen and witnessed in my own eyes, very comfortable for someone to raise their voice above their parents. Very comfortable. None of whatever success I have on Mimbar al-Hussein has been achieved because of me reading books. It's because I believe my parents are accepting of my behavior to them, and therefore their dua blessed me. Don't look at me over here, by the way. Don't look at me here. Me here, I'm giving knowledge. Knowledge does not equate akhlaq. Okay? Knowledge doesn't equate akhlaq. Knowledge is a medium or a source, but doesn't equate akhlaq. The real me is only known by my parents, by my siblings. They're the ones who know the real me. Let's be real. My family and your family, they only know the real you. Community, Imam al-Jawad used to say, don't be an enemy of Allah and don't be a friend of Allah in public and an enemy of Allah in private. Don't be a friend of Allah in public and an enemy of Allah in private. There are certain people who are enemies of Allah in private, with their families, rude, arrogant, so on. I myself believe, and I owe my success, of course, alhamdulillah, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first. But then secondly, if I do not please my parents, I am even worried to go up on Mimbar al-Hussein. Because my akhlaq with my parents, which akhlaq with my parents? Number one, I endeavor that every day when I see my mom or my dad, I endeavor, if they are in front of me, to kiss their hands. There are many, there's no kissing hands. Hey dad, hey dad. Hey dad. Hey dad. I make sure that I kiss my father or my mother every time I see them. Must for me. Number two, akhlaq with my parents. If my dad walks into a room or my mom, there's no way I'm just sitting there. I have to stand up. That's a must. I have to stand up. That's akhlaq. What am I doing? My dad walks into a room, I'm just lying. I stand up, dad, salam. If dad, I know I'm casual or chilled with him, he'll say to me, Allah, sit down. This thing, lack of akhlaq. Your father walks into a room, you stay lying back? How disgusting. Firstly, you kiss the hands of your parents. Secondly, your father walks in, your mother walks in. There is a recognition of standing up. Thirdly, akhlaq is to acknowledge your parents can have bad days just like you can have bad days. So if your parents have a bad day, you don't say, I'm going to raise my voice. وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا. Do not even say, uff, uff, uff. They asked Imam al-Sadiq, this uff is just 2 letters. He said if there was a word smaller, we would have used it. Some people are like, stop it, don't raise your eye, I don't want to hear you, smash the door, slam the door. That is not akhlaq. That's not Ahl al-Bayt. Quran said you don't even say uff to your parents. See parents, people who speak to their parents. Yeah, get on with this, hurry up. You know what, finish this quickly. Why are you so slow? Oh, relax. Hellfire is underneath your feet without you realizing. You're not realizing. Hellfire is making itself very, very, very near you. The moment you're raising your voice, the malaika and their blessing starts to go distant from you. Your du'as are blocked. Because people do say to me, how comes, my business is down or my du'a is not going well and so on. Look at your behavior with your parents. The answer is there. The answer is there. You're rude to your parents who raised you, who gave you everything in life. Our parents are not ma'soomeen. Ma'soomeen are 14. We agree? There's no 15th ma'soom, no 16th. Our parents make mistakes. And those who are parents now realize the mistakes they make as well. So therefore, the first area of akhlaq is that we begin with our parents. Don't show me akhlaq in public. All of us are angels in public. With your parents, number one, the first area of akhlaq. Number two, even with your spouses, a fundamental area of akhlaq. Yeah? Person has to show the highest akhlaq. They asked the Prophet, the lady said, what's our jihad? The men are going on the battlefield and they're dying as shuhada. What's our jihad? The ladies said to him. He said, your jihad is good akhlaq with your husbands. It's your jihad. Good akhlaq with your husbands. That is a major jihad. It's a major struggle. But jihad al-nafs is a huge jihad. The best of akhlaq with the husband. Someone says, even if the husband is rude or bad or... No, within limits. I'm not giving carte blanche in bad behavior. But likewise with the husband, the Prophet used to say, the best of you is the best to their family, and I am the best to my family. The Prophet was the best to his family, the best to his wives. Therefore, on the second level, with one's spouse. Third level, with one's children, akhlaq. Sometimes you see people, they've left really bad marks on their children. Belts. What is this? What is this? What, this child, you cause trauma. Later on, you come to me and others. Can you fix them? They don't come mosque. They don't come mosque because your belts left scars. They don't come mosque because you slapped and you punched. You don't come mosque because they throw you down the stairs and so on. What is this? This is not akhlaq. It's not. Which of the Ahl al-Bayt did this? Imam Ali was asked, I have a child who is rebellious and rude. Imam said a child who's a bad child is like an extra finger. Not good to look at, but you can't cut him. An extra finger, sixth finger. I don't want to see a sixth finger when everyone has. But I cannot cut them off if you cannot do it except by beating and kicking. then take them to somebody else who could talk to them. I was speaking with a father recently, and he was adamant, I want this decision made. Sayyidina, this. I said, listen, but why don't you be a bit softer with your son? Your son is scared of you, man. Your son's scared of you. The Prophet said, first 7 years, let them be free. Second 7 years, discipline. Third 7, be their friend. 14 to 21 is when a dad befriends their son. When they chill with their son, they go to sports matches with their son. They enjoy, they talk to their son. That's akhlaq. Akhlaq is not just that I say salam like this. Akhlaq between where? Between the spouses, with the children, with the parents. Let's go to another area. Then we have a more social akhlaq scene that a person has to always focus on as well. All of us have weddings to go to. All of us have fatihas to go to. Funerals, yes? Fatiha khanis and so on. All of us have majalis to go to. Each of these has a certain akhlaq. For example, in weddings, I've been to Iraqi weddings. When I go there, there's a certain lack of akhlaq on one area. What is it? Us guys are randomly asked to give a lecture. You know, someone wants to hear us for like 5-10 minutes or something. So when you go up to speak, it's a wedding. And sometimes these weddings, there are people sitting in tables, they're round tables. And there's always this front row in front of me. Yep. Front row. It's got about 9 people on the table. And there are tables. All of a sudden, when you go up to give the lecture, there's 6 who are sitting there. Their back is facing. Buddy, for the love of mankind, turn around. Is it a huge task for you to turn your chair around? You start talking. Imagine you start talking. Person's not turning around. I remember once I went to a wedding and the person didn't turn around. There's about 3 who didn't turn around. I said, wait. Everybody pause. I'm not continuing. You 3, turn around. Don't give me your back. Don't give me your back. It's not akhlaq to give me your back. Is it that hard to turn your chair and look in my eyes? My eyes are not going to destroy your life. Trust me. All I need is 5-10 minutes of your time. The number of times I've seen where in a wedding or sometimes in a conference or seminar, a muhajjaba goes up to give a talk. The men at the front row of that seminar, she's a muhajjaba. The men on the front row, she's talking there. No, well, they won't turn their table. They stay like this. Bro, chill. And there's mashallah, you're Jibreel on earth. No problem. You want to lower your gaze, mashallah. Relax. The poor lady is giving a talk. Turn your chair around and give her attention. Turn. Why are you putting your back? This is not akhlaq. In a wedding, you got some who don't turn there. And some of you here will know this. You've seen this. Someone gives a talk, won't turn around. Then you have in a Fatiha. I've seen this in the Iraqi community again. Fatiha in the Iraqi community I've seen, the chairs face each other. Imagine you're the Maulana. Fatiha. People are looking at each other. Hey, I'm here. Luckily, in some cases, it doesn't affect me. But I went to a Fatiha once. The Maulana is speaking. Wallah, all you got to do is rotate 45 degrees. Imagine how hard that task is. Just got to rotate and just face the poor guy. You know what I did? I picked up my chair where I was. I went and put it right in the middle of the hall and sat in front of him like that. It's something I would do. I just sat. And everyone's looking. Ammar Nakshawani. I don't care. The guy's giving a lecture. You guys can turn around and look at him. Why are people like that? Therefore, number 2, you may have in a wedding, lack of akhlaq. In a Fatiha, lack of akhlaq. You go to someone's house. When you go to someone's house, your mates, 3 of them are sitting there. When you walk in, 2 of them stand up. There's always that one guy. Stand up. stand up when someone walks into a room. Simple akhlaq. There's one guy sitting. I remember this happened to me once. I'm going around saying salam, salam, and there's one guy standing. Hey, come, stand up. So, stand up, come. See everyone else? They all stood up. You didn't stand up. You have to have respect for yourself. Never does a Shi'i stay sitting when others have walked into a gathering. Never. Do you know why you don't stay sitting? Because you should hug the person you're saying salam to. You don't go to someone, hey, salam, what is that? Where did you learn that from? Imam al-Sajjad or Imam al-Sadiq? Who did you learn your akhlaq from? A person walks into a gathering, ladies as well. Lady walks in, don't just sit down unless it's, for example, the wealthiest lady in the community, suddenly everyone jumps. Or if it's someone, no, stand up. Assalamu alaikum, welcome, how are you? Small talk, nice, akhlaq, and so on. Talking of small talk. It's nice to have etiquettes, which we call in Arabic sometimes mujamalat. Someone's like, أنا ما جامل أحد. I am very forthright and cutthroat. Wallahi, our parents, you know, us Iraqis, even when it comes to, this is one of our main positive areas, mashallah. We are good at this. And I like it, because I like that etiquette. It's a nice etiquette. Even the Khaja here, the Pakistanis here, the Lebanese here, the Iranians, all of you. Today, that etiquette of formalities when someone elder comes in, that, you know, Bodacha, Khariyate, Janab, say, كيفك حبيبي يا تقبرني or أروح لك فدوة بعد قلبي. All these languages, كمشو برابرجة من عاشقتم تصدرا. All of these different ways of saying I love you, my heart, my kabid. Iraqis, we go into the body parts one by one, yes? You are my heart and my liver and my kidney. These etiquettes are nice. Today, those pleasantries are so dead. Wallahi, I've seen people, salam, salam. I remember I met these two guys. They're both Maulanas. I'll come to the Maulana group in a second. I'm not going to leave them alone. These two Maulanas, very strong in irfan, mystical, mashallah. Ayatollah Bahjat's walking. Yes? I remember I saw them outside the house. I said salam to the both of them. I was like, salam. Salam, salam. Because one particular breed that definitely requires major work on their akhlaq are people in my position. Major work. You know, most of you guys, when you hear about a controversy, it's not you who's the problem. It's the Maulana who whispered something in your ear to spread it. You think people who have graduated from Qom and Najaf, there's two types. There are some who are walking diamonds of akhlaq. There are some who are the biggest, the ghiba, gossipers in the community. But when you see them in public, you say, Assalamu alaikum. There are WhatsApp groups of Maulanas who have graduated from the Hawza, where all they do in that WhatsApp group is slander others. In the UK, in the US, in Canada, everywhere. In Najaf, in Qom. Because someone says to me, no, but Maulana is, there are Maulanas whose akhlaq is the top. I can name them. There are Maulanas, akhlaq in public, outstanding. Go on their groups on WhatsApp. They take clips from all different speakers and they all take the mick out of each speaker because the speaker's not one of their clique. These guys, by the way, if you talk with them philosophy, mysticism, you talk with them about theology or history, he will give you lectures from now until Qiyamah and after. But when you look at their groupies, they are the most slanderous graduates of Najaf and Qom. Instead of following the examples of the great ulama who have the best akhlaq, they decided that knowledge was their God, not ethics. Their ethics is only with their mates if their mates get slandered. If anyone else who's not part of their circle gets slandered, let's laugh at that Maulana. Shaitan could have gone to Jannah because his ilm. No, but he had takabbur. That's a problem. So the Maulanas, they have to work. Likewise, the people, when they see the person of ilm, when our dads were in Husayniyas, when someone of ilm walks in, everybody would stand. Today it's normal, and the majlis has akhlaqi etiquettes. What are the etiquettes of a majlis akhlaq? Number one, in a majlis, Maulana walks in, and I've seen and I'm honored and I'm humbled that when I've walked in here, I've been humbled. When I looked, for example, at those who showed the most beautiful akhlaq as I came all the way here, they all stood up. There are some mosques, no. You can walk all the way to the minbar, he's just sitting there. Wherever a scholar or whatever goes to sit on minbar, wherever you're sitting, stand up. Number one. Number two, never chew and sit there and chew gum and so on and so forth in Majlis al-Hussein. Majlis al-Hussein is a finishing school of akhlaq. You're not in the cinema. Number three, you don't stretch your feet out in Majlis because your imam might be sitting in front of you. Muqaddas al-Ardabili would never stretch his feet out. He said, what if my 12th imam is sitting? There are people who blatantly stretch their feet out in Majlis. Number four, your phone, your other spouse, for 45 minutes to an hour, leave it. Just 45 minutes to an hour. Someone might say, well, in your majalis, people are listening to you. There are others who, unfortunately, blatantly, while they're talking, people are on their phone in front of them. Just for 45 minutes, 1 hour, there is an akhlaqi etiquette. Go to a non-Muslim, get on your phone while they're giving a presentation. They'll say, hey, what are you doing? I'm giving a presentation here. Why are you on your phone? They'll lash out. When a person, therefore, in Majlis al-Hussein starts, person, Maulana walks in, you stand up. And let the person next to you know that unless we stand up, our children will never stand up. Because the child is always inquisitive. Dad, why did you stand up? So we stand up because ilm is walking. And in Islam, ilm is of the utmost importance. Another akhlaqi etiquette of Majlis al-Hussein, when masa'ib begins, everyone's head goes down. You'll find that there are some who blatantly don't realize the akhlaqi etiquette of Majlis al-Hussein, keep staring at you like that. Imam al-Sadiq said, if you cry or pretend that you're crying. Someone says, oh, pretend, but that's showing. No. Pretend by just going like this. When you go to a funeral of any person, you don't keep your head up when it's a sad words being said. You try and put your head down a little bit out of humility. This is akhlaqi etiquette. Other akhlaqi etiquette is when Majlis al-Hussein is happening, people do not walk around. Some have an emergency, there's no doubt, they have to. But when we were younger, if we tried to walk around, your dad's one look, you sat back down. Today, you'll find it's normal that a person will say, go there, go there, go. And that's not the child's fault. The child doesn't deserve to sit in a lecture way above their heads. The children deserve another area where they learn, a creche area where they are given lectures by people similar to their age. Why do I say all of this? Because this place here is a finishing school that makes you a human being. How Imam al-Sadiq, how knowledgeable Imam al-Sadiq is. Yet in Muharram he would say, build a majlis for Hussein bin Ali. Imam al-Sadiq, with all his knowledge, to him, the most wonderful moment is when everyone would sit and someone would recite Masa'ib al-Hussein. And people would go and sit together and they would shed tears. And the heart would soften. For the Imam al-Sadiq would always say that be what? Be a source of adornment for us, not a source of ridicule for us. Let the people love us. Don't let the people hate us through your akhlaq. Your akhlaq is what makes people come towards Ahlul Bayt or makes people run away from Ahlul Bayt. Honestly, in my position and others, our one moment when someone talks to us either pushes people away or brings people closer. And that's why every single father, the rights of their child, what is it? That they are taught akhlaq. Isn't that true? One of the rights of your children is you teach them the Quran. The second is you give them a good name. That's one for another night. The third is that you teach them akhlaq. And we knew, and all Muslims would say, there was no akhlaq like the akhlaq of the Holy Prophet. Don't all Muslims agree? After the Holy Prophet, who had the best akhlaq? Amir al-Mu'mineen, true? And after Amir al-Mu'mineen, who? Imam al-Hasan. And after Imam al-Hasan, who? And then Imam al-Hussein in Karbala said, you want to see the closest in his khalq and his khulq to Rasulullah? It's that young man coming out now. Karbala had how many people with Imam al-Hussein? 120 people, including his family, 140. All of them are majestic. Only one, he said, his akhlaq is exactly the same as Rasulullah. When his son was coming out, Imam raised his voice and said, Allahumma shhad ala ha'ula al-qawm faqad baraza ilayhim ghulam. Oh Allah, be a witness against this nation. For a ghulam, a young man, has emerged. أشبه الناس لنبيك خلقا وخلقا ومنطقا, is the closest person to your prophet in his khalq, the way he looks. If you looked at his face, you'd think it was Rasulullah. And in his akhlaq, he most resembles the Prophet, Ali al-Akbar. Why did Imam al-Hussein say that? Number one, I'm telling you guys, this is Rasulullah walking. You're not surely going to kill him. You, Umar bin Sa'ad's army, all of you say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. I am telling you, أشبه الناس خلقا وخلقا ومنطقا. The closest person in resemblance to the Prophet, in the way he looks, Ali al-Akbar, you would look at him, those who knew Rasulullah would be like, I can't believe my eyes, this is Muhammad walking. But in his akhlaq, makaram al-akhlaq, Ali al-Akbar. And I wonder, I am going to say this for the first time, I wonder if Imam Zayn al-Abidin wrote this dua, makaram al-akhlaq, in honor of his brother. Because his brother was makaram al-akhlaq. The best manners you'll see. All the way to Karbala, he would always talk with his father with so much akhlaq. And even when he tells his father, aren't we on the truth? Death, what's death? I'm with you. The softness of the heart. But I feel sorry for a mom who has that boy. I feel sorry for a mom. Every mother loves her son, but imagine an impeccable son. A young son. Imam al-Hussein concluded that line by saying, every time we missed my granddad, we'd look at Ali al-Akbar's face. Every time we missed my granddad, we'd look at Ali al-Akbar's face. I ask you, on the face of that earth at the time, on the face of that earth, was there anybody who could be the same as the Prophet in akhlaq? So how great is this person? And that's why Allah only knows how much hurt Imam al-Hussein went through with this young man. Only Allah knows. When he woke up that morning, the morning of Ashura, he read the adhan. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. He read the adhan, and eventually after Salat al-Dhuhr, it was the turn of Bani Hashim. I cannot describe to you when a dad has to turn around to see his son come towards him and say, Dad, it's my turn. Wallah, words do not do justice. Whatever I say, whatever musibah I read, you all know the musibah. I don't even think I need to read. Anyone who cannot break down for Ali al-Akbar has to reassess their heart. You know, they say every single person who went out to fight, Imam tried to tell them, please don't go, please accept Ali al-Akbar, because Imam had broken at that moment. He just didn't have even the strength to tell him. And Ali al-Akbar, instead, Ali al-Akbar tries to console his dad. He says, Father, don't worry, it's okay. And his dad tells him, I love you. Many fathers don't tell their sons they love them. They don't tell their daughters they love them. But look at the akhlaq of Sayyid al-Shuhada. I love you, my boy. And he says, Dad, I love you too. The hadith says, you saw the two of them holding each other, crying. May Allah bless the soul of Imam Sahib al-Asr al-Zaman in listening to these things. Both of them crying and crying and crying. He told him, Ali, he said, yes, Dad. He said to him, bid farewell to your mom. Go to the tent and say goodbye. So he went, he entered, his mom saw him. And even now, I try and describe it in words. What's my words? A mom sees her boy about to leave to the butchers of Karbala, to the slaughterers. Then he turns around and says, my auntie Zainab, I'm about to leave you. And she holds him tight. And she goes, you go on. And then he goes on. And then he goes and rides his horse. He's about to leave. He hears a call, come back, please. He turns around, it says, Dad. He said, Dad, what is it? He said, you don't know how hard it is to see your boy leave. They embraced each other that final time, the two of them. He held his son, and then he saw his son walking. His son came out towards the battlefield. The moment he came out, he said, Ana Ali ibn al-Husayn ibn Ali, nahnu wa rabbul bayt awla bin nabi. At'anukum bil-rum hatta yanthani, adribukum bil-sayf, ahmi an abi. ضرب غلام هاشمي علوي والله لا يحكم فينا ابن الدعي. He came out and he began to fight valiantly in the middle of all the soldiers. His mom is in the tent. His mom cannot tell how well her boy is doing. May Allah never show a mom seeing her boy surrounded by the wolves in that way. She cannot tell how well her son's doing. She'd look towards the face of Abu Abdullah. If the face of the Imam was smiling, then she'd know that her son was doing well. Suddenly she saw a change in the smile of Imam al-Hussein. She said to him, Abu Abdullah, tell me, how's my boy doing? He said to her, Layla, I see them attacking him. But Layla, the dua of a mother is never rejected. Allah, the dua of your mom is never rejected. Never forget that in your life. The dua of a mother is never rejected. She called out to her Lord. She said, oh my Lord, you return Yusuf back to Yaqub. Oh my Lord, you return Ismail back to Hajar. Return my Ali back to me. Within a few moments, he returned back to the tent. He managed to make it back. He went near his mother. Do you know why his mother's dua was answered? She asked with the wasila of Yusuf to Yaqub. She asked with the wasila of Ismail to Hajar. But she also asked with another wasila. What was it? I ask you in the name of the Gharib of Karbala, return him. I ask you in the name of the Atash of Sayyid al-Shahid. He returned, he looked towards his mom hugged him, yes? And then he looked at his father. He said, Father, the thirst is killing me. He said, Father, 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 the thirst is killing me. Imam al-Hussein placed his tongue on the tongue of his boy. Akbar looked at his dad. He said, Dad, your tongue is drier than mine. I wonder how dry was the mouth of Abu Abdullah. Imam al-Hussein read a dua for him. He said, son, in a moment your grandfather will quench your thirst. Trust me, my son, your grandfather will quench your thirst. Akbar went out. A few moments later, he's calling out, Assalamu alaikum. Imam al-Hussein ran out towards the battlefield. Imagine the scene. His boy is on the ground. One of the poets, he says an unbelievable thing. He says, it's as if I see a dagger in Akbar's chest. But he says it's as if I see Hussein saying, looking at Najaf, Dad, you lifted the gate of Khaybar, but you never had to lift a dagger from the chest of your son. Come to my Khaybar, come to my Karbala. I'm going to leave you with these lines, my dear brothers and sisters, and I ask you for dua. When he looked at him in his final moments, he saw him smile, then he saw him cry. He said to him, my son Ali, why do you smile? Why do you cry? He said, Father, I smile because I see my grandfather coming to quench my thirst. Allah. I smile because I see my grandfather coming to quench my thirst. So my son, then why do you cry? He said, because I see my grandmother Fatima in front of me. He said, but what makes you cry? He said, for every tear that you shed, I see her slap herself on her cheeks in front of me.
कहती थी ये माँ खूब भरी मैयत से लिपट कर हाय हाय अली अकबर हाय हाय अली अकबर 18 बरस पाल के परवान चढ़ाया अरे वो गेसुओं वाला है मेरा खून नहाया, ये क्या हुआ दिलबर, हाय हाय अली अकबर। अरे तुम हिचकियाँ लेके जो दम तोड़ रहे हो, अरे मुमा से हमेशा के लिए मोड़ रहे हो, क्यों रूठे हो दिलबर, हाय हाय अली अकबर। और पहले, अरे पहले तो एक आवाज पे उठ जाते थे बेटा, अब इतनी सदाओं पे भी पहलू नहीं बदला, क्या हो गया दिलबर, हाय हाय अली अकबर। कहती थी ये माँ खून भरी मैयत से लिपट कर, अरे कहती